Imagine beating the lottery once. Now imagine doing it 7 times. That's not a fantasy. It's exactly what Richard Lustig did, pocketing over $1 million in the process. And then there's Julie Leach, who turned a single Powerball ticket into a jaw-dropping $310.5 million. How did they do it? And could you possibly follow in their footsteps? Before we jump into the winning strategies, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for some good luck. Here are the 12 strategies anyone could use to win the jackpot multiple times. Strategy number 1. Pick and stick to your own numbers. There's something almost magnetic about having a set of numbers that are yours and yours alone. Richard Lustig swore by this rule. He believed that constantly switching numbers was like planting seeds in different gardens every week. You never give anything time to grow. His approach? Commit to one set and play it relentlessly. Why would this matter in a game ruled by chance? It's not about beating randomness. It's about consistency over chaos. Many people change numbers based on moods, lucky charms, or last-minute whims. But by locking in the same numbers, you eliminate second-guessing, keep a clear track of results, and build the habit of disciplined play. There's also a psychological edge. Sticking to your set removes the heartbreak of watching your old numbers hit the jackpot after you abandon them. For Lustig, the emotional stability of commitment outweighed the temptation of constant change. He played the same combinations for years, and over time, his persistence was rewarded, not just once, but multiple times. The real takeaway: your chosen numbers are an investment. You don't pull out early because it's taking too long. You plant, water, and wait. But as with all investments, only commit what you can afford to lose. Because, as we'll see in the next section, even a dedicated set of numbers works best when you choose them with a hidden mathematical advantage. Strategy number 2. Avoid birthdays, anniversaries, consecutive numbers. It's human nature to play the numbers that matter to us. Birthdays, anniversaries, lucky dates. They're familiar, they feel special. But in the lottery, that familiarity is exactly the problem. The moment you lock your ticket to the calendar, you've dramatically shrunk your range of possibilities. Think about it. Months only go up to 12. Days stop at 31. That means the highest number you'll ever pick in a birthday-based system is 31, leaving huge swaths of the number pool completely untouched. And you're not the only one doing it. Millions of players think the same way. So even if your birthday picks do win, you might be splitting the jackpot with dozens or hundreds of other people who had the same original idea. Consecutive numbers are just as risky. Sure, every number combination has the same odds on paper, but lottery draws rarely favor straight runs like 14, 15, 16, 17. Statistically, scattered numbers dominate the winning history. In short, the more random your selection appears, the better you insulate yourself from predictable patterns that draw in the masses. Richard Lustig's approach was ruthless here. No emotional attachments, no sentimental picks. His ticket wasn't a family album, it was a tactical grid. By rejecting common number traps, he kept his combinations unpredictable and harder for the crowd to accidentally duplicate. And speaking of zigging where others zag, the next tactic takes that logic a step further by deliberately chasing the numbers most people ignore. Strategy number 5. Don't fear quick picks. For some players, quick picks feel like surrender, handing control to the lottery machine instead of carefully crafting their own numbers. But here's the truth: a large percentage of jackpot winners got there through quick picks. The randomness they offer isn't a weakness, it's their biggest strength. When you manually pick numbers, you're still influenced by human bias. You avoid certain unlucky numbers, gravitate toward favorites, or unintentionally form patterns. The machine, on the other hand, has no emotional attachment, no superstition, and no sense of what looks good on a ticket. It produces combinations far more unpredictable than most humans ever would. Richard Lustig himself wasn't a pure quick-pick player, but even he admitted they have a place, especially when you need multiple tickets. By mixing your personal numbers with a few machine-generated sets, you widen your coverage without falling into predictable patterns. It's like sending both a trained marksman and a scattershot into the same battle. You increase the chances of hitting something. There's also a mental benefit. Quick picks free you from overthinking. You're not second-guessing if your numbers are hot or cold this week. You're just playing the game and letting the randomness play out. For players who get bogged down in obsessive number tweaking, this can be a relief and can keep the fun alive instead of turning it into a chore. Next, we'll talk about upping your firepower, but doing it without setting your bank account on fire. Strategy number 6. Buy multiple tickets within budget. Here's a truth about the lottery that's both obvious and overlooked. The more tickets you have in the game, the better your chances. But here's the catch. Better doesn't mean good. Even with 10 tickets, the odds remain astronomically against you. That's why Richard Lustig's advice was always paired with a warning. Never spend more than you can afford to lose. Buying multiple tickets works like adding extra fishing lines in the water. You're covering more number combinations, giving yourself more ways to match the draw. But without discipline, this tactic is a financial trap. The rush of just a few more can turn a harmless hobby into a slow drain on your savings. Lustig approached it like an investment portfolio. He allocated a set amount for each draw, never touching rent money, bills, or savings. If he couldn't afford his usual number of tickets one week, he simply played fewer. This wasn't about chasing wins, it was about consistency and controlled risk. And if you want to multiply your chances without multiplying your expenses, the next strategy is where teamwork turns into a game changer. Strategy number 7. Join a lottery pool. If there's one strategy that can supercharge your odds without draining your wallet, it's joining a lottery pool. This is where a group of people, co-workers, friends, family, or even organized community groups, combine their money to buy a large batch of tickets together. The more tickets the group plays, the more combinations are covered. And the best part, your cost per person stays low. Think of it like forming a squad for a treasure hunt. Instead of one person searching a single patch of land, the group fans out to cover an entire field. If anyone finds the jackpot, everyone shares the prize. The odds are still long, but suddenly you've got a lot more shots at the target. Richard Lustig acknowledged pools as a smart move, provided there's trust and a clear agreement. Without written rules, lottery pools can turn ugly. There have been infamous cases of friendly pools winning huge prizes, only to dissolve into bitter lawsuits over who was actually in for the winning draw. That's why professionals recommend keeping a simple record: who paid in, how much, and for which draw. The trade-off, of course, is sharing the winnings. But if the choice is between owning 100% of nothing or a slice of something life-changing, most players agree the trade is worth it. And speaking of safer, sometimes the smartest way to play is to step away from the big, flashy jackpots entirely. Strategy number 8. Try smaller games with better odds. The massive jackpots grab all the headlines, hundreds of millions, sometimes over $1 billion. But those record-breaking numbers come with record-breaking odds stacked against you. That's why experienced players, including Richard Lustig, often turn to smaller games where the chances, while still slim, are noticeably better. State lotteries, local draws, and specialty games like Pick 3 or Pick 4 don't have the same life-changing headlines as Powerball or Mega Millions. But they offer far higher odds of winning something, sometimes by a factor of hundreds or even thousands. The prizes may be smaller, but they can still be significant enough to make a difference. There's also less competition. Fewer people play the smaller games, which means fewer chances of having to split a prize if you win. A $250,000 jackpot might not make you a global news story, but it can pay off a house, clear debt, or set you up for years of financial breathing room. And speaking of safer, sometimes the smartest way to play is to step away from the big, flashy jackpots entirely. Strategy number 9. Scratch-offs for more frequent small wins. If you want fast results and the chance to win right away, scratch-off tickets might be your best bet. Unlike traditional lottery draws where you wait days or weeks to see if you've hit the jackpot, scratch-offs deliver instant feedback. You know immediately if you've won something, big or small. Richard Lustig acknowledged the appeal of scratch-offs, especially for players who like to stay engaged and enjoy a steady stream of excitement. While the odds of winning the top prizes on scratch-offs aren't necessarily better than big lottery draws, these tickets offer more frequent smaller wins that can keep your bankroll alive. The key is to approach scratch-offs strategically, not just impulsively grabbing the cheapest ticket at the store. Look for games with better odds, higher payouts, and bigger prize pools. Some players track which scratch-offs have had recent big winners, buying tickets from fresh batches with untouched prizes. Scratch-offs also let you experiment with your playing habits. You can try different price points, from $1 to $20, and find a level that fits your budget while giving you the thrill you want. This variety can help keep the experience fun and prevent burnout. But remember, it's easy to get caught up in the instant gratification. Scratch-offs can encourage repetitive spending, chasing small wins that barely cover the cost of tickets. Treat them as entertainment, not a way to make money. Set limits, play responsibly, and never bet more than you can afford to lose. Strategy number 10. Play less often but target big jackpots. It might sound counterintuitive, but playing the lottery less often can actually be a smarter strategy, especially if your goal is to snag one of those massive jackpots. Instead of buying tickets every week or chasing every small prize, focus your efforts on the biggest draws with the highest jackpots. Why? Because the potential payoff outweighs the odds on those nights. The expected value of a ticket goes up as the jackpot climbs. This means that even though the odds of winning remain astronomical, the possible reward is worth the occasional risk, if you can play responsibly and without desperation. Richard Lustig was a proponent of patience and discipline. He didn't waste money on every draw. Instead, he saved his budget for the big jackpot nights, maximizing his chances when the prize was truly life-changing. This approach also keeps your lottery spending in check, reducing the risk of chasing losses or falling into a habit of compulsive play. There's a psychological benefit too. When you play less often but aim for the big prize, it turns the experience into an event, a moment of anticipation and excitement, rather than a mundane routine. This keeps the fun alive and prevents burnout. Of course, this strategy isn't foolproof. It doesn't guarantee a win, but it's about playing smarter, not harder, choosing quality over quantity, and knowing when to step back. If you want to keep your chances open without exhausting your resources, this approach offers balance and perspective. Up next, a quick tip to make sure you never miss a secondary prize that might slip under the radar. Strategy number 11. Check secondary prizes. When most people think about lottery winnings, they picture the giant jackpot, the headline-grabbing millions or billions. But the lottery world is filled with smaller secondary prizes that often go unnoticed. These can range from a few $100s to tens of thousands, and they're an important part of any smart player's strategy. Richard Lustig always stressed the value of paying attention to these secondary prizes. They're less glamorous, sure, but much more attainable, and they can add up. Claiming even modest wins can boost your bankroll, allowing you to buy more tickets or try different strategies without dipping into your personal funds. The challenge is that many players don't bother to check their tickets thoroughly after the draw. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement or disappointment of the big prize and overlook smaller wins that still matter. Some secondary prizes might be automatic refunds of your ticket price, while others are actual cash payouts that can be reinvested. A smart player keeps track of all prize tiers, knowing exactly what to look for on their ticket. Many lottery websites and apps now offer tools that make checking easier and faster. Some even send notifications if you win anything, no matter how small. Being diligent about secondary prizes is a simple but effective way to stretch your lottery budget and keep the excitement going. It turns each draw into multiple opportunities, not just a single shot at the jackpot. It's all part of treating the lottery as a long game, one where patience, attention to detail, and smart management can make the experience more rewarding and sustainable. Coming up next, a quick tip to make sure you never miss a secondary prize that might slip under the radar. Strategy number 12. Treat it as entertainment, not income. The most important lesson Richard Lustig and every experienced lottery player emphasizes is this: the lottery is a game, not a reliable way to make money. Treating it as entertainment rather than a reliable income source keeps the experience fun and stress-free. The odds are always stacked heavily against players no matter what strategy you use. It's easy to get caught up in dreams of sudden wealth, but chasing that dream without caution can lead to real trouble, financial, emotional, and even social. Many lottery winners face difficulties managing their new wealth, but far more players risk losing money chasing elusive jackpots. When you approach the lottery as entertainment, you set healthy boundaries. You decide how much you're willing to spend and stick to it. You enjoy the thrill of anticipation, the excitement of checking numbers, and the social fun of sharing stories, but you don't depend on it for your livelihood. This mindset also prevents the dangerous cycle of chasing losses, where players keep buying tickets to recover money they've lost. That's a slippery slope to financial stress and gambling problems. Richard Lustig's advice was clear: play responsibly, and if it stops being fun, take a break. Viewing the lottery as a form of amusement, like going to a movie or grabbing a coffee, puts things into perspective. It's about occasional excitement, not everyday reliance. And in the end, playing smart means balancing hope with realism. It's about having a good time, knowing the risks, and staying in control. And if luck does come your way, be prepared, because winning is just the beginning of a very different story. Winning the lottery, especially multiple times like Richard Lustig, sounds like an unbelievable fairy tale, but behind the headlines lies a complex reality. While smart strategies can tilt the odds slightly in your favor, there are no guarantees. The thrill of the game comes with real risks, financial pitfalls, emotional struggles, and the very human challenge of managing sudden wealth. What stands out most is not just the wins, but the mindset. Those who approach the lottery with patience, discipline, and a clear plan tend to enjoy the experience more and avoid the harshest pitfalls. Whether it's picking your numbers wisely, joining a trusted pool, or simply treating the game as entertainment, playing smart means staying grounded. If you dream of hitting the jackpot, that hope can fuel your excitement. But always remember, the lottery is a long shot. The real win is playing responsibly, knowing your limits, and staying in control. So, what's your take? Will you chase the big jackpots, try the smaller games, or stick with scratch-offs? Drop your thoughts and plans in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Because in the end, the lottery isn't just about money. It's about the stories we tell, the risks we take, and the choices that shape our luck.